There's a lot you can learn from Out of the Past. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Out of the Past with the Martin County Historical Society. I'm your curator, Jim Marushin, and with me, our executive director, Lenny Tvedten. Lenny, what's up today?
Well, I think we're going to talk a little bit about an interview we did.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, let's see what you brought along to show the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And from where?
From where today, I ventured to Ceylon.
Ceylon, huh?
This is a handmade handkerchief from the 1901 era. This was handmade by a woman out of Ceylon and sent to her friend as a gift. I've also got a little protection here in case things go awry. This is a helmet from the Ceylon American Legion Post 529. Also, one of our most used parts of the museum, as you know, is our photo archive. Here we've got some early pictures of the Ceylon Municipal Band.
Every little community had a band back in the day.
Yeah, they really did. And see the different instruments. You can see on the drum there it says Ceylon Band. One of my favorite parts of these pictures, there are some interesting facial hair decisions that were made. So wonderful pictures. We've got a ton more at the museum from Ceylon and other places. And speaking of questionable fashion, the 70s were a time of that. The yearbooks, another one of our big archival pieces that get used a lot.
Yep.
You can see some bell-bottom jeans in the picture there, and just a wealth of information. I'm a football guy, as you know, so I marked the football page there. So
Sure.
yeah,
basketball. That's some really good athletic teams, good basketball teams.
Yep, the Huskies.
Right.
So yeah.
And of course, there's a really famous individual that came from Ceylon.
Yeah, who was that?
Well, I think he was vice president at one time, Walter Mondale.
Walter Mondale.
Born in Ceylon.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so there's a ton of history there. This is just a small fraction of it, of course. And, you know, who probably had a lot of things from Ceylon in his shop would be Marv Carlson.
Marv Carlson, yeah. We had an interview with his daughters.
That's right.
Carol Cress and Connie Erickson.
Sure.
And they had a lot to say about Marv and about that period of time in Martin County with what he collected in his store.
Sure.
So,
well, why don't we take a look?
Let's do that. Okay, we're here in the Pioneer Museum in Fairmont, and I'm really excited to talk about Marv Carlson. I have his two daughters here. So let's talk a little bit about Marv, what he was like. I remember a lot about him, but not as much as you guys, I'm sure. How would you describe your dad?
Oh, always friendly. He always said, keep smiling. We got along with everybody.
Good sense of humor?
He was, yes, he was always joking and cared about people.
Sure.
Yeah.
He was easygoing, and I remember walking down the street, and an 11-year-old boy was going the other way, and he just had a kind word for him. You know, asked him how he was doing or what he was doing, or you know, and that really influenced my life.
Well, from what I've read about him, I remember he had a really interesting life. He had a number of different occupations. What were some of those? What did he start out as?
Well, he grew up in a farm family in the Tremont area, and he left school after 8th grade to help the family farm. Sure. And then he farmed in East Chain. He and my mom were married, and we had 2 older sisters than I was born. Mm-hmm. And then he moved to Fairmont. So we lived in Fairmont all the rest. So in between that time, he sold firefighter fire extinguishers, handyman jacks.
I think I got a picture of the truck that firefighter.
Yes, and eventually he sold real estate too.
Oh.
And then he collected things all his life. So just like he was always doing something, and also. He would play harmonica on the radio. Well, when he became farm director at KSUM, and he also did community appearances and played the harmonica.
Before that, he filled gumball machines that were around the county with peanuts and candy, and he bought and sold gold and silver jewelry.
Boy, just a number of different things. What I remember most, I think, would be the two things that I remember most would be the store he had and being on the radio. Tell us about the store.
It had chairs hanging from the ceiling, and it had a mirrored disco ball in the front window forever. Narrow aisles, always something to look at. Show and tell was great. When I was in grade school, I always had something, and it explained what wool carding combs were, or a taxidermied horned lizard, and then I'd get to pick and take it and talk about it.
What do you think was as you recall, one of the most, or some of the most interesting things or unique items that he had in the store?
He did have a coffin, but it hadn't been used.
That was later, though. He had a chair that had horns. It was made from horns. And then the president have that? Didn't Teddy Roosevelt have one like that?
Really? Wow. It's kind of an interesting story about the coffin that I read. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How?
I don't know. What's the story?
Well, from what I saw and reading a little bit about Marv, he had the coffin, I think, strapped to the top of his car, and he had a flat tire, and he pulled out the side to change the tire, and either a state patrol or a policeman stopped and wondered what was going on. And Marv said, well,
that was before the coffin. He had a house full of furniture tied to the roof of his car, which he always did. And took it all down, and the highway patrol's like, what happened?
It was lined up along the side of the road.
Okay.
So it's like, got his attention, yeah. But the thing is, the trooper then stayed while Dad fixed the tire, and then watched him load everything back. He didn't offer to help, but, he was making sure it was all securely, and he did. He had it all on there, which was typical, because on vacations we would go at every little secondhand shop or antique store, and Dad would of course find something, and it would go in between us in the back seat or in the trunk or on the roof, so
I remember you told about an iron fence that he bought on a trip.
I don't remember, so what is that?
Well, you told me. it was in the back seat with us.
Oh, okay.
And then he had quite a gun collection.
That he did, and I don't know how he got his first one, but he had many, many, many guns.
Wow.
There's about 80 there.
You counted.
I estimated.
And then he had also smaller guns. Is this the one with the blunderbuss?
Yeah, the blunderbuss, the wider at the end that the Pilgrims used.
Boy, they all look like guns that were used in the 1800s.
I think so.
So he sold the collection to start the store.
Oh, that's how he got the third one.
Cecil Bursell. We're sisters.
How long was the store in operation?
He had the first store was in the Tower Shopping Center with Gunther's and Kretschmar Drug.
And that's now where Quick Trip is.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
And
that store, as I remember it, I'm older than her. So it was neat and tidy, and our older sisters even cleaned it. But
that didn't happen later.
Yeah. When Daddy moved to another location.
It was where the Western Cafe was and station, and it was an angled building that was green. I mean, I must have been 2, but I remember the stairs and climbing up, and I think Marlene worked there. And then when he moved across the highway to his last store.
Across State Street there.
Yeah.
I think somebody sold eggs there. Indian Joe, I think. No.
About the location of 4th Street, where that gas station is, only across the street.
I knew you'd know.
Well, approximately anyway.
So he sold the gun collection to go out on his own. Cecil wasn't a partner anymore then. And then that store became like, I'll say for the younger people, great-great-grandma's attic. Everything was dusty and nobody dusted anything, and they just piled it up. Plus, no prices were on anything in the store.
Oh, yeah.
Dad or his helper, Ralph Hyatt, knew what things cost or if things were authentic or, whatever. And they would sometimes probably bartered, but Dad would know what everything was.
Then they built a Quonset hut in the back, and eventually things were on all the walls and started to pile up in the middle. And one day there were two ladies climbing up the pile, and Ralph's like, "No, you can't do that."
Plus, an area artist did a quick sketch, which are framed. We have them. I forgot to bring it here, but of the bulging building with furniture poking out of the roof, and of Dad under a load of furniture.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember. He had a lot of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was called, what was the name that was given?
Carlson Secondhand Store.
The Eighth Wonder of the World?
Oh, the eighth wonder of the world. Really, it's in his articles written about him. Yeah. Plus, he had business cards, and then it was also like first it was 132,846 items. The next one had 200,000 items, and the final one had 300,000 items. But nobody ever really counted.
Any idea how many visitors you got each day, or each week, or each year?
I don't know. I don't remember.
No. But we were always excited to be there because there was always something to see. I was anyway. Were you?
Oh, yeah. And then when we'd go riding in the country, because he looked at cattle for Aaron's sales yard and was an auctioneer, so he would take a sign, Carlson Secondhand Store, and he'd stop the car, go across the street, and pound it into a tree.
It was orange with black lettering, kind of like wall drug,
kind of like wall drug signs.
Just kind of an advertising thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do it yourself.
Yeah. Were most of the people that went to the store or visited the store local, or were there people that actually came off the highway, Highway 16 at that time, I think?
It was such an attraction, and I guess the orange and black signs worked. People came from all over, yes.
Interesting.
And you could buy a chair for $5, so sometimes people needed that.
Yeah. And he acquired all these things just...
From people, he would buy whole estates.
Estates,
He would do it, and that loaded on the truck or the car. and
One
moved.
time he took me to an old Victorian, and it had the big 2-foot square black and white tiles and a grand piano in a round room and a chaise lounge, probably, you know how they used to make horsehair, velvet as the fabric.
Did he buy that?
I think he'd already been there, and the house impressed him, and he wanted to show it to me.
Well, nice. Yeah.
Then he also was on the radio, KSUM.
Right.
What can you tell us about that?
He had an early morning show, 5 o'clock. Now, Saturday, what I remember is not necessarily listening to it, but he played polka music and told jokes, which readers sent into him. And I made a collection for the grandkids of his jokes and pictures of Dad. And I tried to find a joke to read here, but they weren't funny.
Funny at the time, but times change.
Right, and on Saturday mornings he'd stop at Keel's Bakery and bring us back donuts, and they're still warm. Right, and then he had an 8 o'clock show. So.
Well, when I was in high school, he would bring Keel's pies back all the time, and I had them for breakfast every day.
I was at college. I missed out.
You missed out because I'm sure they were really good.
I remember climbing the stairs to the old KSUM station and sitting with him during a broadcast sometimes, and Mike Murphy'd be at the other side of the glass.
When I was up on, 3rd Street?
Where the Greyhound station was?
Yeah, the Greyhound station.
Park and 3rd, sure.
Yeah, that was fun. And on Thursday night, we'd get cattle calls. So
cattle calls? What do you mean?
Because he went out and looked at cattle for the Aaron sales yard. So farmers would call in and give directions to their farms, and we'd write down on this pad, and turn at the second mile.
All the directions to the farms.
And so once in a while, I'd get a call, and I'm like, "Where's Marvin?" I'd go look at the clock. 4:30 in the morning. He's at the radio station, and they're like, well, "This is the radio station." But there'd been a big snow and he had to walk or something.
Yeah.
So how long did you do that? Or was that kind of just during most of his life?
He was on the day that he passed.
So. He was farm director at
from the late 40s.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
to do that. And he would also bring us up at Christmas time, and the four Carlson sisters wished everybody a Merry Christmas in song.
I don't remember that at all.
But you were there.
Now, was he also, I thought I read he was an auctioneer as well.
Yes, he learned that from his brother Walter,
Uh-huh.
who later was director of the Pioneer Museum.
Yep.
Yes, and so he worked under him, and he would practice. He would have us practice rubber baby buggy bumpers, you know. But I could never say it as fast as Dad, you know. And maybe I could say it once, but not 3 times fast. Anyway, we thought it was funny when he had that. But eventually, he went out on his own and did auctions,
So
and then
what,
auctioned for Aaron's yard too.
okay, so did he do like farm auctions or household auctions or just anything that they called him for?
Not sure exactly, but I remember going to a couple when he was there. And then he would also sometimes do a charity kind of auction too.
And my birth announcement was an auction page, cribs
really?
and different baby items, just to announce that I'd arrived.
That was probably Mom's idea, but maybe not. Maybe it's Dad.
When you think about your dad, what would be one or two or a few of the things that really stick out most in your mind about your dad?
Well, I think first of all, just at the end of every broadcast, he would say, "Keep smiling," and then he would also say, "If you have time today, go visit somebody in a nursing home."
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And I
Very
know he
nice.
did. I went to see somebody after Daddy died, and that he'd gone to visit often.
Well, he was certainly well known in Martin County and beyond Martin County.
Yes, it's a happy thought when we think of Dad.
Yeah, well, great. Yeah, well known, well loved, and respected, and everybody knew Marv back in those days for sure.
And some people still do, but it's like they have to be of a certain age that before we ask them, "Yeah, did you
Have to be
grow
like
up here?"
us, about 25 to 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe we talk a little bit about your family, your mother. Can you tell us a little bit about your siblings, your mother, and maybe some vacations or trips you guys took as a family?
Well, Mom and AAA always mapped out great 1-week vacations for us, and we'd go on factory tours to Corning Glass and Hershey's and Kellogg's and see lots and dams. And it was a real education. But Mom read the encyclopedia because she had 300,000 postcards.
Yeah.
Not penny postcards, but, you know, presidents carrying milk pails and
Sure.
really interesting things. Cards that you'd hold to the light and you'd see a lighter window, like a layered postcard, leather postcards.
Anything interesting on those trips, or anything that stands out in your mind?
Utah.
Well, we were going the wrong way once, for hours, and when we realized it, we turned around, went back through the Tetons, and we heard an explosion, and they'd blown the road out.
Oh.
We sat for hours in the dark, waiting for them to rebuild or patch so we could get by.
I think we slept.
I didn't sleep. Mom was praying the whole time because there was a big rock above us, and she was hoping it wouldn't fall on us. But we got through and got to our motel at 4 a.m. and left at 8.
Marv was punctual. We always left the day.
That was the
Right.
schedule.
Right. He was always up early.
And our sisters?
Marlene is our oldest sister, and she's in Pine City. She worked in a nursing home in the activities department for many years, and she's also artistic, and she's retired and living a nice life with the pine trees around.
Oh, good.
Our other sister Judy passed away a few years ago, but she was in education, and she wrote some poetry, and she loved drama and dramatics, and was drama director and English teacher and journalism teacher.
Oh,
So that was her background.
Well, then all of us girls were in education. Marlene started
Oh, yeah.
out as a 3rd grade teacher.
Yeah, that's
Judy
right.
taught. You were a social worker in schools. I was a teacher's aide, and Mom taught in a one-room schoolhouse.
Right.
well, that's right. Do you remember that your mother taught in a one-room schoolhouse? Yeah.
That's
Which one was
where
it?
she
Where
met Daddy.
Was that
by
in-
Tremont, I think.
Tremont? I was thinking it was up in that area.
Was she the one who got the dislocated thumb and Dad fixed it? Yeah.
Oh.
That's how
Well,
they
he
made.
was there. I think he was there for the ice cream, though, because it was last day of school social.
But they met, yes. And getting back the postcards. So that was a good source would be Carlson's secondhand store for selling all that. And then also she collected beautiful cut glass bowls and things like that. And we still have many of those. And
Daddy had a steel drum or a cardboard drum, and it was filled with soap powder, and packed in there was all cut glass.
that's-
Now, your mother was a teacher. Did she continue teaching while your dad was running the store? Or?
No, and way back then you weren't supposed to be married and taught.
Oh,
But
sure.
it was interesting how she got her one job because one of the teachers at the country school near her came and asked her and said the superintendent had sent her to ask Marlene, Mom, if she could get her, if she could take over as teacher because she was going to be going on vacation or something.
Oh.
And so Mom went there. She had attended normal school at Mankato, which was Mankato State University later. And so she was teaching, and the superintendent came by one day and said, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "Well, so-and-so said, I should."
They recruited differently at that time.
Yeah. And so I think that one left to get married or go away anyway, but she never came back, and so Mom had a job.
Sure. Well, great.
But then after they married, then she was a homemaker.
How did she feel about all of the things that Mar was involved in? Was she supportive of that, or did she say, I don't know, Mar, maybe you ought to back up?
Never heard her say that. Never heard her say
Well,
that.
she got lots of books. One book
books,
she
yeah.
had, and she didn't realize at that time,
Uh-huh.
if you skewed the pages back, there was a message on the ends of the pages
Oh,
that you
really?
could read. If regular, you wouldn't see it, but you
Sure.
scoot it back and it would be apparent.
So she was supportive of
Yeah,
everything.
and then things appeared at our house too. So for a while we,
What do you mean they appeared?
in the garage, we had the disco ball with all the mirrors on for a while. I mean, Mom didn't let them stay there very long, but we didn't have that. And at one time, the Wooten desk, which is in the Pioneer Museum,
Right.
that was down in our basement, and I really liked that because it had all kinds of cubby holes in. I thought it was real neat, but I didn't get to keep it. And Walter Carlson, the director, had talked Dad into giving it to the museum, so Dad did. And then afterwards, he told Dad how much it was worth, which kind of should. I don't know how much that was, but I think it was enough to put $4 through college.
Yeah, it would. The wooden desk is a unique piece, and it's literally an office and a desk from probably the 1800s.
And it was rare, and
Yeah.
I think a president, I'm not sure which one, had one like it. Somebody important did.
Sure.
Rockefeller or a president. I don't know.
Well, great.
But
Very-
it's up there. You can
Yeah, it
see
is.
it. We
Very-
come and visit it every night.
Very interesting. So, any other comments about any of those things? Family or Marv or collections?
We
or-
were blessed. We were blessed to have a good family.
Good.
I do remember Daddy coming to me with kindergarten orientation,
Oh, yeah.
and I guess it was his influence, or it runs in the genes that I looked around everything, and then he stayed for an hour while I showed everybody around the sandbox and the classroom.
Very supportive then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, it was great. We got to ride in the country with them too.
Yeah. And he would take the hills in a certain way so our tummies would tickle. Plus, he always took us to the little town restaurants, Welcome and Sherburne and whoever. They all had restaurants. And
Sure.
we'd either have root beer floats and hamburgers. What else?
He had
Vegetable
hot
burgers.
beef sandwich.
He had hot beef sandwiches. But anyway, we look forward to that time with Dad.
A lot of really good memories.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Very good.
Really
stories
good to be
hear.
here.
Really
Nice to
good.
talk about Daddy.
Yeah.
And visit with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Lenny, that was a really wonderful interview with those two sisters. They knew just a ton about Marv.
Oh, yeah. Carol and Connie, they're just very interesting to talk to, and they're just very spontaneous and just told us so many things about both Marv and his store and experiences they had as a family.
Sure.
Sure. Really, they really did a good job.
Well, thanks to them for sitting down with you and
Great.
sharing that history. And thanks to you, the viewers at home or wherever you may be, for joining us for another great episode of Out of the Past.
There's a lot you can learn from Out of the Past.